Hi, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. What is it that leaders do? Leaders climb. And one of the important aspects of it is that leaders are willing to climb. Leaders go for the mountain. They're not afraid to take that obstacle and make it low, as the saying goes. Dr. Seuss says, "Today's your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way." When you walk through the door, yesterday we talked about recreation, about how leaders go into an environment and they recreate, they evolve, they make the next step. Well, leaders, when they walk in, they don't change, they just don't make the change. They look at what's going on, they assess to understand the culture, they understand what's the obstacles in the way, what are the things that need to be looked at, what are the people, the most important part, how are the people, what are their needs, what are they working on. We'll be talking more about this in our series of 7 days of videos on this particular aspect. But today I want to share with you another quote here, but it's really an important one. So it's by an author. Being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So each day, a leader, an entrepreneur, we are entrepreneurs. We walk in, we take ownership of the situation and the responsibility, the accountability, and we make a better day. We make it so that, today is a better day than yesterday. It may be an old saying, but it's very true. If we continue to have bad days, we're not going to have performance. We're going to have discontent. We're going to have dissatisfaction. We're going to cause fear. We're going to lead into something that isn't worthy. As entrepreneurs, as leaders, we are called to make something worthy. And so we stand, we're willing to take the hits. We're willing to eat glass. We're willing to do things that others are not willing to do. We're willing to take the team, to fight the fight, to take the steps forward to make it a worthwhile day. But we know that if we don't, that we're going to look at the depth of the team, of the organization, of the family, if we don't stand there, take the hits, but pursue forward. It's about standing at the abyss of death, you recognize what power you have to change that to the life-giving world, to get to a position that of transcendence, of transformation, of being able to take something, much like the flower coming through the ground, it has to get through that barrier. It has to break through, and that's what transformation is about. It's about breaking through that which is there, that barrier, and changing it to something new. It's much like that caterpillar, will change into a butterfly, right? It's about breaking through a barrier. It's about changing, transforming, and then blossoming into something even beautiful, more beautiful than it already was, more purposeful, more exciting, more, effective in delivering towards a greater thing. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. The things that are important to us as leaders are that we're willing to climb. Now, if we're going through the day and we are downhill sliding, then we're waiting for things to happen. We're waiting for the reaction. We're going to wait and then react to something that isn't what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to respond, not react. So I'm not telling you anything really new here, but I'm telling you a different perspective. We're walking into a client. We may need to make a sale. But we need to walk through that door with a welcoming presence. We're walking through representing the company, the services, the products that we have, and we're doing it to serve. We're doing it not to just make a sale, but ultimately that's, one of the outcomes we would like. We would like to be able to serve that person's needs by providing a solution to, their immediate need or their future need. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. We're working towards future needs. And building our team, transforming our team. So sometimes when we look at, examples in life, and I look at the things I walked into. When I walked into a new department in the corporate environment, I had to assess, I had to understand what was going on, and then say, okay, why is this process here? Why are we doing these things this way? Or I'm called upon to do, something that was missing. I was working as a funding analyst, senior funding analyst, and my job was to assess the liquidity of the bank. What is the state that the bank can respond at? Where is this cash flows happening? How much is it cash today versus when it's going to come in? What are the debts that we have? What are we going to have to pay back? When is that going to happen? When is the cash going to go away? When's the cash coming in, basically? And what's that mismatch? What is that gap? And then say, okay, within 3, 6, 9, 12 months, what are the points at which that gap is? Is it minimized, or is there a big gap that we're going to know that we need to fund and further out? So I could not just say, well, whatever, we've got this process, it's good enough. But no, it isn't. We needed better information because there was a standard gap analysis, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't really telling us what is the behavior behind that. We're talking about maturities and that standard gap. What are the things that are known, or when they're repricing, when they may walk away. But we don't know about behavior. So customer behavior is going to be different based on the day, on the environment. What are the things when the Fed changes rates? Is that going to affect our mortgages, mortgage flow? Is that going to push up the demand that we're going to need to fund those requests? So it took it through an evolution, but that's just a process, right? So, but the people that are involved in that area that I was working with, I couldn't just go in and say, okay, here's the change, go do it. No, I need to work with them to help them understand why we're doing this. What's the purpose? What is the goal? What are the things that we want to achieve? Help them, basically by standing out of their way, but help them bring together that analysis, help them think through. But it isn't so much that I'm putting my personal opinion on. It's more focused on helping them think, create that environment for them to thrive, to think, to develop these tools, because some of the tools, we have a format, but we need to plug in the information. We need to understand what the information is behind it and take it in. But we needed to focus in on building a new frontier, going up the mountain, and at times it was a very tall mountain. We had to climb that in order to get to the goal of having a better information, better analysis, better recommendation for management, that then we could then take those strategies and implement, and then monitor and make sure that they were happening the way they were, looking for additional sources. So it was more than just doing a report. It was about building a team to climb, to go through this need, this future need that we foresaw that we would need to have. And especially as we got into the crisis of the credit cycle, 2008, 9, 10, it really started probably about 2007 that we could start seeing the writing on the wall, that we needed to compensate for many other things that were happening in. in the financial markets and the stock, the economic environment. So what was customer behavior? What's going to happen? All these mortgages were up in the air. Banks were closing down their liquidity lines. So, you know, we recreate, we climb, we grow, we are transforming ourselves. We're helping to transform others by giving them additional challenges, about helping them, point to a goal and get them excited about a goal and what it could mean. And, in essence, if you do a great job, you're going to be recognized for it, and you'll be called on to be, giving greater challenges and greater rewards. We're not supposed to stand still. We're not supposed to just stand there and watch life go by. So climbing is important. Climbing is a factor today. Once we have that idea that we're going to work within, we're going to have to climb the mountain. We're going to have to find those particular things that we end up doing. We end up looking at a multitude of things. We have a lot of noise in our lives. We have, if you take it into the family, well, every day brings its own challenges, and we have to work through those. But there are many things that we have to have, and we'll talk more about attitude, about the characteristics. What are the important aspects? What are the characteristics? What are the attitudes that we need to develop, that we need to remember to hold dear to move forward? So that's what we're going to continue to talk about today and during the rest of this week. Bob Berg, noted author and a good friend. Position yourself as the center of influence, the one who knows the movers and shakers. People will respond to that, and soon you'll become what you project, and you'll soon become what you project. So position yourself. Leaders position themselves as climbers, and as a result of being a climber, they know who's going to be part. They know the resources. They know who to touch, who to keep apprised. So as we're building teams, one of the teams I'm working on right now, we're needing to keep people apprised where we're at, what are the things that we're doing. Those that have oversight for the group need to keep them in line, in alignment with where the activities of the group are. So while we're building, we're also needing to make sure that we're aware of the people that are involved, those that are necessary to further advance the project, those that are important to continue to drive forward. So as we talk today, we are looking at how do we climb? And we climb with intensity, we climb with earnest, we climb to transform, we climb to eat glass and stare into the abyss of death. Because we know that if we are true to that upward path, the glass eating will be less, because we're going to do a better job each day. But we're going to be able to take those hits for the team, help them weather through the storm, and as well as knowing that if we don't make that forward movement, we are not going to recreate. We are not going to build anew. We're not going to evolve the team. We're not going to see the evolution of our business to that next level, of our team, of our family, to be more cohesive, to really enjoy being with each other. And the same thing with community and community projects and getting involved as a volunteer. If you have people that are just doing the work, it's going to maybe it'll get done. But if you have people all in tune with where the direction of life is going, where to get to that goal, to satisfy the future need of the community by working today and being fired up about it and working together, we have to work together. We have to be hand in hand saying, yes, this is what we want. This is the things that we want. This is the day we want to see come forward. We want to be able to see so much more happen to solve the problem at hand or the future. In particular, if we focus on the future, we'll never be caught reacting. We'll be caught responding and being there at the right moment. It's important to be there at the right moment with the right tools, with the right solution. So create today through climbing. Create through climbing and bringing others along with you, but making sure they climb the mountain on their own skills and grow their skills and develop themselves. And those mountains soon will be coming down, and it'll be much more smooth. Much as if you get your hands around sailing, the cruise will be much more effortless. Even though you may have seas that are rough, you're going to be able to cut through them and get to where you need to go, because you know how to control the craft, you know how to pilot the seas, because you've taken practice and you've grown each day and you know exactly what you need to do. So my name is Dutkiewicz, and I am the founder and chief leadership thought partner, helping and working with business leaders, business entrepreneurs from mid to senior level to help them evolve to their next step, to change and transform to their appointed time, to arrive prepared, practiced, and enthusiastic, and transforming to a greater level for the people around them. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.